Hi, this is Sarah happening with Bearcat Journal. I'm here with Chad Brendel. The UC Bearcats took on Bellarmine Knights today. They win 84-72. This is their second exhibition game. Their first regular season game is next Friday. How do you think they looked out there today?
I thought it was a little shaky early, especially defensively. You could see there were some missed assignments, some missed rotations in the press. I think a lot of that, as they started to wear down Bellarmine, kind of worked in their favor. They worked through some things, and I think you're going to see them press a lot. But as Coach Cronin mentioned in his press conference, you're not going to see that much press. You're going to see a lot of it, but they're not. They were doing it today just to get it in against an opponent, see what they can do. And they played a Bellarmine team that can really pass the basketball, and that's where you can get in trouble if you're pressing after every made basket, after every dead ball. Bellarmine really moved the ball well, and just amazing. They had 25 field goals, 23 assists. I mean, that's off the charts. Normally, if you can get 50 to 60% assists on made baskets, you're doing pretty well. I mean, that's 95%.
Absolutely, and Mick Cronin did say a lot about that his team could learn from their passing game, which is a huge compliment. You know, he had nothing but excellent things to say about the coaching as well as their players. He knew it was a big game for his Bearcats to take on today. What do you think about that statement?
Well, it goes back to Mick and Coach Davenport at Bellarmine. We're both on Rick Pitino's staff, 2001 through 2003. Mick was the lead assistant at that time. He was the associate head coach, and Coach Davenport was kind of coming up through the ranks. So he's got a lot of familiarity with him. He knows. He even called him the best coach, not coaching the best college coach, not coaching Division I basketball. And you'll see if you follow Bellarmine at all, they are one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the nation in Division II every year in assists. This was not an accident that happened today, that they had 23 assists on 25 made baskets. Absolutely. It's a regular thing for them. But what you did see is the legs started to wear a little bit in the second half.
And Kilpatrick had even commented on that. You know, they definitely noticed that towards the end of the first half, they were getting a little bit weaker, a lot more pressing. So what are your thoughts on just from the first half to the second half? I mean, obviously there were a lot less threes putting up on the board for Bellarmine.
It's a matter of, I mean, they still ended up shooting 38% from 3, which is very good, but 9 of 19 in the first half, 47%, only 4 of 15 in the second half for 26%. You just wear down a little bit. You don't have your legs underneath you. You're not catching in the rhythm. And once they started to turn it over, Cincinnati had 14 steals. Bellarmine turned it over 18 times. So 14 steals and only 10 turnovers for Cincinnati themselves. You start to get into their head. When you're forcing live ball turnovers that you're converting into baskets, Cincinnati had 25 points off turnovers, 16 fast break points. So just one of those things that if you do it consistently, if you can score and then apply the pressure, you're going to wear teams down. You're going to get them in a position where they don't have the legs to make plays in the second half. And that's exactly what we saw.
Absolutely, and Mick Cronin did comment on they did a lot of work this week in practice on the offense, and it showed, and their defense was slacking. What do you think needs to happen before they go into their regular season game on Friday?
I don't overly worry about defense with the Mick Cronin coach team. He's going to get it out of them. What you have to do is, it's hard for him, and coaches love defense because they can control defense. Sorry. Much more so than they can control offense. Offense, missed shots, you can't do anything about as a coach. But as you know, you can control where guys are at, what their rotations are. So it's actually good to hear that they kind of broke away from that and worked on the offense this week. The defense with them, I mean, yeah, you've got some younger guys, but you've also got some veterans in Justin Jackson and Titus Ruble, Sean Kilpatrick, that can cover for those guys and make plays behind them if they have mistakes. You're going to see a little bit of a learning process as Kevin Johnson and Troy Copain and Deshaun Mormon and Jermaine Lawrence get up to speed. But defensively, I'm really not worried about where this team is early, even though Bellarmine was unconscious. I think they hit 6 of their first 7 in the first half.
It was incredible.
And their first 18 points came off of 3-pointers.
Now, you did talk about Titus Ruble. Mick Cronin commented on if the Bearcats are wanting to win games this year, he's got to be playing for a minimum of 30 minutes. So what are your thoughts on Ruble's performance today? And How do you anticipate him to do throughout the season?
Jackson's the one that he said had to get 30 minutes because they don't have a lot of depth at the center spot. But him and Titus as a tandem are working really well. And you saw for a little bit today, Titus played some center, and Jermaine Lawrence came in and played the power forward. So they're working in some different rotations. They're working in some different things. Titus is a guy who's going to be invaluable to them. He was cut short in the first half. I think he came out with 8 minutes left in the first, more than 8 minutes left in the first half because of 2 fouls. Sat on the bench for the rest of the first half, and that's been an issue for him getting 2 fouls early. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, stay on the floor in the first half. In the second half, he was fantastic. He had 11 of his 13 points in the second half. He was really active in the press. He picked up 2 steals, 3 assists. He's a critical guy for them for the way that they want to play, the things that they want to do offensively and defensively. And the main thing is, if he's not on the floor, then you've got Jermaine Lawrence, who 10 points, a very talented young freshman. He bounced back from a bad exhibition game last Saturday. But defensively, he's got a long way to go. And you're putting even more pressure on Justin Jackson if Titus is on the bench for foul trouble and Jermaine is forced to play. You want the luxury of playing him 15 to 20 minutes. You don't want to be forced to play him 25 to 30 minutes at this time because Titus is in foul trouble. So great job in the second half to avoid the foul trouble, stay on the floor, and you saw the type of impact that he can have, especially as you start to wear a team down. He's got great anticipation in the passing lanes. He had a couple dunks today where he jumped the passing lane, made the steal, went down and put it in. So he's a critical guy. He's very important for this team now that they're not pretend anymore. Starting next Friday, these things count, and then coming up on the 12th, so 9 days away, you've got North Carolina State coming in here, and that's a big early season test for the Bearcats.
Right, and I think they know that. We did see a great game today. Mick Cronin said this is exactly what he wants to see with an exhibition game. UC Bearcats defeat the Knights today, 84-72. This is Chad Brendel. I'm Sarah Habedank with Bearcat Journal.